Today, Trump threw Elon a farewell party.
He's one of the greatest business leaders and innovators the world has ever produced. He stepped forward to put his very great talents into the service of our nation, and we appreciate it. And I just want to say that Elon has worked tirelessly helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program in generations.
$175 billion in waste was doged. Government computers were modernized, and 2% of the workforce accepted very generous severance packages. But we'll always remember Elon when we see the shiny red Tesla. Caroline and Margot took it out for a spin last night, and if you look closely, Stephen Miller's in the back. 47 gave Musk a key to the White House and said he'll be back and forth because Doge is his baby. Just because Musk is leaving doesn't mean Doge is going anywhere.
This is not the end of Doge, but really the beginning. My time as a special government employee necessarily had to end. It was a limited time thing. It's 134 days, I believe, which ends in a few days. So that it comes with a time limit. But the Doge team will only grow stronger over time. The Doge influence will only grow stronger. And I'm confident that over time we'll see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction.
Elon was in good spirits, but he had a black eye. Who hit him? Must have been a lefty.
Is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there's a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France. So, yeah, no, I was just horsing around with little X, and I said, "Go ahead, punch me in the face," and he did. Turns out, even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
That was X that did?
Yeah.
X could do it.
Like Musk said, he wasn't the only one this week to take a beating.
This week, there was a video on board a plane that showed the First Lady of France slapping her husband, Emmanuel Macron. Do you have any world leader to world leader marital advice?
Make sure the door remains closed. That was not good.
Yes.
CNN says it was Washington that gave him the black eye.
He has a black eye, but don't you think that black eye is also going to become a metaphor for 1,000 articles about his time in Washington? You know, this is a guy who was able to conquer basically every industry that he set out to succeed in, and Washington, D.C. may be the only one where he's going away with a black eye.
Stelter doesn't think Musk succeeded in Washington because Stelter thinks anyone who leaves Washington failed. No. Musk did more in 130 days than politicians do in 3 decades, and then he went back to building cars and rockets. He's not just sulking like he lost a campaign. The New York Times, on Musk's last day, called him a drug addict. Our very own stupid son of a bitch asked Elon about the Times allegation. Watch.
So, there is a New York Times report today that accuses you of blurring the line between...
Is the New York Times, is that the same publication that got a Pulitzer Prize for false reporting on the Russiagate? Is it the same organization?
I gotta check my Pulitzer counter.
It is.
I think the judge just ruled against the New York Times for their lies about the Russiagate hoax, and that they might have to give back that Pulitzer Prize. That New York Times, let's move on.
There was an actual drug addict who last spring was kind of running the country, and the Times didn't notice. They found cocaine in the White House, and the Times never cared. And they never accused Hunter, but they're accusing Musk with no evidence? CNN jumped in and defended the Times.
I think we have to revisit it and not let it stand alone because he talks about the Russia hoax. We just have to be very clear that Russia interfered in the 2016 election. The Mueller report did not find collusion, but Mueller was very clear he did not exonerate Trump.
Yeah, so CNN admitted we were right about Biden's brain, the border, inflation, but they just won't let go of the Russia hoax. MSNBC said Musk's more deadly than the Vietnam War.
He talked about bringing the wood chipper to USAID. They have a tracker. 300,000 deaths. According to a Boston University professor, because of the aid cuts so far, 200,000 of them children. Okay, Vietnam War, y'all remember that? 60,000 U.S. service members died. This is 5 times more deaths.
Cutting spending's a war crime in Washington. Musk doged Sesame Street in Iraq, and they're calling it an atrocity. Anyone who dies in Africa, now it's Elon's fault. And by the way, if there's 300,000 deaths since Doge, where are the bodies? Why doesn't MSNBC have videos of mass graves? A professor is making up numbers so MSNBC can accuse him of genocide and Democrats can open an investigation. That's exactly how hoaxes start.
I think some crimes may have been committed over the past 3 or 4 months, and they are going to come to light. One way or another, we're going to come to light, even if it takes us getting into power again. But we will subpoena people and find out.
Elon puts his 5 companies on ice for 4 months to help cut pork and make government more efficient. And Democrats firebombed his cars and called him a Nazi and accused him of taking drugs. Oh, and as a cherry on top, if they take the House back, they're going to make his life hell and fine his companies. They've already made the world's wealthiest man the Republican Party's biggest donor. And they keep going. They've made themselves the enemy in his eyes. Do you think Musk's going to let this slide?
I think the fundamental moral flaw of the left is empathy for the criminals and not empathy for the victims. Empathy for the criminals, but not empathy for the victims. And there's been way too much of that. That needs to stop. To the president's point, there's been immense judicial overreach that is unconstitutional, that was never intended. And it's undermining the people's faith in the legal system. It needs to stop. It's gone too far.
The country's begging the Democrats to get it together so we can work together for the good of the country. Building and maintaining human civilization's serious business. We can lose this country like that.
You know, Republicans, you generally don't like red tape. You understand the devastation of it. But, you know, most Democrats, they love it. They want more of it. And they want to make it so confusing you can't even meet the rules, so you get punished and fined afterwards.
If we doge the Democrats, we'd make America so efficient. Imagine what we could accomplish. We have a pioneer who broke the mold like Rockefeller or Ford or Jobs. Elon's not perfect. Nobody is. But he's not a villain. He's a legend. And if we want successful public servants to serve the country like they used to, instead of lazy lawyers who get elected to Congress and spend all day fundraising and making up lies, we have to support them, whether they're on the right or the left. We shouldn't fight just to fight because they're on the other side. If there's a Democrat billionaire who wants to upgrade the old computers in Washington, we'll back that. We have to be grateful when people help us instead of when they help themselves. This country has to come together so that we don't get left behind.
Severance packages. Companies usually offer severance packages when they lay off employees. Out for a spin. He took his new car out for a spin. In good spirits. She was in good spirits despite the bad weather. Horsing around with. The kids were horsing around with each other in the backyard. Sulking. She was sulking because she didn't get her way. Exonerate. The new evidence helped exonerate the wrongly accused man. Atrocity. The world was shocked by the atrocity committed during the war. A cherry on top. The bonus at the end of the year was a cherry on top. Broke the mold. She really broke the mold with her innovative design.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.